we wanted to bring these conversations into some sort of a platform that we can talk, or using images as well, just to have a conversation around it. And yeah, it kind of evolved from there, and we launched the exhibition. We launched the element of collecting photos from people and asking people to contribute and adding photos and putting a narrative into their pictures. And we'll show you them in a bit. But that kind of initiated the whole Reframing the Narrative project. So from there, we went on to, and unfortunately it was during the time when the George Floyd murder happened. And so we moved from that session to looking at the sector as a whole. What does international development actually mean? Where did we start and where are we going and where are we actually at the moment? And with that, we did decolonizing sessions, decolonizing development. And then from there, Kath, we moved on to dialogue days, right?
Yeah, so we did a couple of decolonizing development sessions, and what's really interesting is that we started this conversation talking about international development, didn't we? We started saying, what does development mean to you, and talking about international development. And actually now the language that we're using internally as an organization is solidarity. You'll notice that this summit is called the Global Solidarity Summit as opposed to the International Development Summit. So the conversation throughout the sector has evolved, and it will continue to do as we reflect and learn together. So we did the dialogue days, we did the decolonizing development days, and then we did some films. We had a series of films, film nights that discussed various issues and were produced by African filmmakers, giving their perspective of their communities. And then most recently we had dialogue days. If anybody does want to have a look at the recordings of them, then we can share them with you. Give us a shout. Sorry, Fid, I spoke over you.
No, that's absolutely fine. You reminded me, because gosh, there's a lot of things crammed into 1 year as such. And yeah, I completely forgot about the films. And thanks for reminding me that. Yeah, we did the dialogue days, we did the films, and the terminology, that's ongoing work. It's something that I think is gonna continue for foreseeable future. I can't even put a time frame to that, because language change, as Eric would agree to that. And I don't think, as a highly known poet within the community here in Wales, definitely would acknowledge that we need to make sure that we're up to date with our language and using the right terms, and not just changing the name of the summit altogether, but even the sector. It used to be called Wales for Africa, and now it's Wales and Africa. So there's a whole shift over there, and we need to continue with that shift altogether. So terminology is another piece of work that we're doing, and there were more exciting stuff that are coming from some of these sessions Kathy's doing to do with podcasts. I don't know if you want to touch into it a little bit, Kath.
We're hoping to do some podcasts later, so watch this space.
I'm too excited. Yeah, maybe we can share the website to officially launch the website, to which you can get to see some of the pictures that have been shared by members of our community here in Wales, I think, and beyond. We had people from Nigeria, Zimbabwe as well, submitting pictures. But if you currently, it's not on the website, but if you use this link, which we can put on chat, then you'll be able to access it. And just to have a conversation around the pictures that were submitted, I would like to invite, Kathy, you got anything else to add?
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'll put
a spotlight on the others now as well, so they can, so the audience can see them too.
Peter, if you can please post the link on chat for the Back in the Day exhibition, and people can go through it. It's easy to navigate. You just, as you can see there, you click on the picture. There's a bit of narrative of what the picture is about and who collected it. So please feel free to have a look, have a wonder, and get lost in these beautiful images. And today we have 3 of our photographers to really talk more about their pictures and their understanding of the topic itself, development, and what that means to them. And I would like to invite Basmala, El Bashir, Cordelia Whedon, and Eric Gale Mola Chaz. I'm adding an extra name to you, sir. Over to you, please. If you can take over, Eric, and lead on the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fadili. You failed to tell the audiences that we've ordained you as a small god sitting on the foothills of Mount Cameroon. So Fadili's nickname is a Pasamoto, which means half stone, half human. So ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. And before I introduce the two photographers whose photographs I say I love very much, I just want to tell you a very short story. And this story I'll tell you through a poem, but I'll just tell you what it is. From the age of 3 years old until I was 37 years old, I had the same dream over and over again. I dreamed that under my mother's bed was a small black box. But I was so frightened and terrified of my mother that I never asked her what was in this black box. So I framed my own dream in my head that every time I dream about this black box, there were pens and pencils of all different colors. And for the almost 36 years, I had the same dream over and over again. And then when I went back to Cameroon in 2017 for the first time, I gathered the courage to ask my mom about this black box, but it was as if my mom had anticipated this question from me. So I'll just do this poem and you see what I'm doing with this idea of framing narratives and photographs. So it's called Small Black Box. Under my mother's bed is a small black box, bruised, a small hole on one side through which as a child, I saw the world bending. Box filled with pencils, different colors, brown, blue, yellow, red, indigo, purple, green, pink, teal, orange, blue, light pink, magenta, sky blue, green. In my dreams, I've opened this box 1,000 times, painting pictures of my mother, carrying a brown basket on her back, plucking tea leaves from the plantations of Tole, colored her green as she cooked, aqua as she watered the plants, green as she planted seeds, dark green as she harvested, lilac. Many years later, when I was 37 and my mother 72, I took solace knowing that she would not smack me as she did when I was young. Yes, I was a boy plagued with stubbornness. I asked my mother, Mama, the black box under your bed, a small hole on one side filled with pencils of all colors. Can I open this box? As if expecting my question, my mother disappeared into her room. And there it was, a black box. She blew, dusted with a handkerchief. She opened the box. She handed me a picture. You see, that was the very first time I saw my father. So this dream was not about the pencils that were under this box. This small box was where my mother had concealed my father. For 37 years, I had this dream constantly. And so I saw my father's picture when I was 37 years old. And when I look at this picture, I don't think about who my father is, but I always remember these dreams. So instead of what this picture means to me, I write poems about the background before actually meeting this picture. And then the irony is, when I showed my sister this picture, my sister said, Eric, you know, that's not your father. So was my mom. So this is the importance of pictures. These are what pictures, you know, who is telling the story through this picture? Is it the photographer? Is this picture speaking to us? So when I looked at Cordelia and Basma's photographs, I was amazed. So without spoiling it, I'll first of all introduce Basma. And can you tell us about some of your pictures, please?
Hello everyone, my name is Basma Al-Bashari. I'm a first year biomedical science student at UW Bristol. And when I saw the poster about what does development mean to you, I was really interested in just sharing my story behind development and how I came to this place right now. So the photos I submitted were pictures of me because wearing my traditional Sudanese clothing. And the story behind it is that no matter where you go in life or if you go to a new environment, you always have your culture, your background behind you, and you're carrying it throughout the years. And so even though I'm in Britain and I was raised in Britain, I still have some of my beautiful, beautiful heritage behind me. And I'm still going to carry it throughout the years and be proud of who you are. And that's my message, is to always be proud and embrace where you come from and never forget your true identity. And for the other picture I have with my family, the one in the library by there, yeah, that one. So this is all of my family. My grandmother's at the back. So I specifically chosen this picture because I want to say that in new environment, and for us to actually develop, we need to adapt to the changing. And so my grandmother, who has lived her entire life in Sudan and being in the UK only for 6 years, she has adapted to the new environment. She even started going to Nash College to study English, so she can actually talk to us in English as well with my little siblings. And being able to actually take all of that beauty and take all of that history and experiences together and then merge it with the new environment and this new culture, it made this beautiful family where we are half Sudanese and half British as well. We celebrate for example, Easter, Christmas, Halloween. That has never, we never had heard of those terms or those celebrations back in Sudan at home. But coming here and changing, and that intergenerational mindset made us develop this strong bond between each other and that strong community, even in the UK with the Sudanese community and the people here as well. And then there's another picture with my sister, me, and my mother at the back. So the story behind this picture is that don't be afraid to show where you come from. Be happy and be satisfied with where you are actually right now. So for instance, this story was, this image is because with my organization, I decided to actually do a live Facebook event about empowering Sudanese women, and something very funny happened at the end. And so just trying to laugh it out and just enjoy the moment itself, and being able to actually show the people that this is your true self. Yes, you are Sudanese, or yes, you come from a different country, but at the same time you accept the new environment and then adapt to it as well. And the last point I want to talk about this image is that in order for someone to develop, even internally or even outside physically, it's to firstly find where your weaknesses are and then change them to make them your positives. So for me, even the term, as Fadili said at the beginning about the term development itself, what does it really mean? It could mean a personal choice, or it could be general development. And for me, development is all about trying to constantly evaluate yourself, reflect on your past, and move forward. It's all about developing your mindset, the way that you look at life, and the way that you can adapt to new changes as well. I think that's all from me, and I hope that you found this useful.
Thank you very much, Basmala. Thank you very much. So while we're here, it would be nice if Kat and Fadili can commission us so I can write poems about the photographs that you've taken, because they are beautiful, beautiful, very beautiful. And I like that interplay between place, memory, and home, what characterizes home. Some at night, when you close your eyes in Bristol, you find yourself in Sudan. And when you're in Sudan, you find yourself, and this is the beauty of photography. And before I introduce you to Cordelia, I just wanted to say something. One of Cordelia's pictures that I saw was about a woman and a child holding 2 chickens. And in Cameroon, we have 2 seasons. The rainy season, which we call Mbuanjoku. Mbuanjoku simply means the rains that fall on this month are so heavy, it feels as if elephants are falling on one's roof. In Welsh, they will call it Glaw elephant. So Mbuanjoku. And then this only happens in August. So mysteriously, all the children just disappear. As soon as August comes, we just disappear. We spend 1 month in our kitchen. So we chill out with the chickens, we play with the chicken. But the most important thing that happens in August is that our mother or our grandmothers, they spend time telling us stories. Then as soon as the rain ends in August, the next season that comes is called Wekundunde. That means the rains that fall after August soften the ground, so people go and plant it. So it coincided with when the Red Cross people came to the village. So when we come out of the kitchen, we have wrinkled shin bones, kwashakwa belly. They took photographs of us thinking that we were dying of starvation, not knowing that during Buanjoku, we spent all our times in the kitchen, gorging our way through the food, sitting by the fire, hence these wrinkled shin bones. So this is what came to my mind when I was looking at Cordelia's picture and the mother and the daughter holding this chicken, thinking about development. So Cordelia, please tell us about your photographs and what were the inspirations behind them.
Cordelia, you're on mute.
Yeah, is that, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I love hearing all your stories, Eric and Basmala, to go with your pictures. It's great. I mean, that's what I love doing, is seeing people's pictures and their stories. It was the rainy season, and when I took this picture, and this was, it's part of a project that the charity that I take photographs for is doing to help sustainable livelihoods, and we were raising money for gifts like chickens and goats, and we're going more over to skills training now. And it was raining when I took this picture, so they were undercover a bit, and so we didn't get wet. And I just I thought the grandmother looks very elegant and with her dress, and so I had them sitting down so they didn't get wet. That was one reason. But initially, if we could go to the picture of taking photographs, the one at this one. Yeah, this was on my first visit to Uganda, and I was working for about 10 years in London teaching photography. So I worked with lots of different groups of people before I went to Africa. So I kind of learned quite a lot in that job. And then, you know, I got involved with Dol and Fermi, and they suggested that maybe I could do something with teaching children photography. And I felt it was important when I went to Uganda to gather other people's stories rather than just taking photographs myself. So we set up these projects in several different schools, and this was the first school that I worked with, and it was I had a great time there. It was wonderful. So initially I got the children looking at photographs. So I bought some photographs from Wales. I also had photographs from different African photographers to give them ideas. And I got them to look at the pictures and talk about them, see which ones they liked. And then this part is when they're actually practicing taking pictures. So I got them to, you know, look at different angles, different ways of taking pictures. And then they took cameras home and they took some fantastic pictures it was actually film cameras. They each had a film camera. So the kids came back with some wonderful pictures, and it actually taught me a lot about Uganda. And it was like it was more, rather than just going to Uganda and taking pictures for the charity, I felt this was a way of raising awareness about Uganda and getting the children to help, and the adults as well. I did some training later on with some of our community development workers. And so it's kind of, how should I put it? It's like a joint project. It's not just, I feel it's important for development to do it, to have other people taking pictures rather than just myself, or because they've got a very different perspective from what I would have. So I think if we go on to the next picture, which is about, because the work that we do, we're a farming linked charity. So we started doing permaculture training, and this is Helen, who comes from northeastern Uganda, and she's explaining her plans for doing a permaculture project. And this was just the beginning story of what's evolved into a lot of people taking up regenerative farming in this area, which has helped a lot of the community projects. And after this picture was taken, it all took off, and you see they formed a group of people who were doing permaculture in the area, both in northeastern Uganda and Kamuli. And during the lockdown, a lot of the people I was working with in the kids couldn't go to school, so they started getting the children doing the permaculture projects and growing food, which really, you know, helped during the lockdown because the kids weren't at school and they didn't have anything to do, and food was difficult. It was a problem. So the permaculture's really taken off with the farming link. So I don't know if you want to ask me any questions about, yeah. So I love gathering people's stories. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, I know a lot of the kids, they came up with pictures that perhaps would be stereotypical.
Can and want to. It really is something, photography is about enjoying, but it's also about the storytelling elements of it. So really think about lifting your snaps. Let's call them snaps. Let's lift the snap and turn it into a photograph that means something. So have a little think about what you're doing before you actually press the button.
Thank you, Glenn. Any words of wisdom from you, Takura? Last one.
Yeah, maybe not wisdom as such, but I remember somebody once saying to me, take many bad photos, until you get to a stage where you're like, yes, I can see that this is improving. And I think that's really essential. So in whatever capacity that you can, take many photos. You probably won't get one right straight away. But yeah, as part of that is improving. So
thank you. Thank you, Takura. Over to you, Kath.
Well, that's it, guys. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. Claire is our head of partnership, and she is going to say some final words because this is the last 5 minutes of the summit. And then I think after Claire's spoken, we'll do a poll and we'll get Fadili to share some more music with us so that we can really enjoy the last 30 seconds. All right, okay, over to you, Claire.
Okay, thank you. This is a bit strange actually, because normally I'd be probably stood on a stage at the end of a one-day event just thanking everyone for their attendance, and so many people have dropped in and out of different sessions across the week that I won't be speaking to everyone who's attended, and some of you might have only just popped into this session. So I just want to say thank you for everyone. We've done 5 days, 5 events a day for 5 days, so I'm sure my team will be absolutely delighted when we all switch the Zoom camera off at the end of the day and go and relax. But I just wanted to say, first off, just at the end of this session, thanks to Eric for bringing so much energy to it. I feel energized, and I didn't think that was possible on a Friday afternoon, to be honest. And then obviously Cordelia and Basmala for your contributions in terms of photos and things like that, and Takura and Glenn. I can't see you on the screens anymore, but I hope you're still here. And it's really weird, actually. It just gave me a few moments to reflect, because I met you all in a meeting room over a year ago when we conceived of this idea, and the world has radically changed since then. And it's hard to believe that we were talking about this together, and now here we are sat in front of Zoom screens on a Friday afternoon. So I just think this session was probably the perfect way to end, to be honest, to bring some kind of creativity back, a bit of life back, some storytelling back, and yeah, some kind of fun as well. So I'm looking forward to a little bit more music in a few seconds. I guess the most important thing to reflect on at the end of this conference is that today, roughly, or yesterday, marked a year since we had to cancel our in-person summit in North Wales, which our colleague Emma worked so hard to organise for us. So we're 1 year on from the first thing we cancelled, which just feels really, really strange, and a bit sad that we can't kind of make those connections with each other. But I just think this event has really democratized what we've been able to do. The digital platforms have been so great for bringing so many more people together to discuss the really pertinent issues in the sector, the kind of the issues that are really driving us all at the moment. So we've got climate change, we've got COVID, and most importantly, for what we've been focusing on today has been the Black Lives Matter movement that has really revolutionized and kind of I think brought people forward in leaps rather than in small steps, which is what was happening before. So I think that's really important. But I also just want to reflect on the fact that this year, I think, has proved that we can make systemic change if we want to make systemic changes. And what we don't want to do is kind of just slowly creep back to the old ways of doing things. I think this has really been useful for showing us if we want to make changes, we can make changes for the better. And I really hope that although we wouldn't want to gather like this, that we can continue in the right direction, and we'll carry on making incremental changes forward rather than slipping backwards dramatically. So I just want to thank everyone for their participation, and particularly obviously Fid and Kath, who are leading this session, and I can see a few other colleagues here as well. So thank you to everyone for joining in. Thank you for bringing your energy. Thank you for participating, and stay in touch with us. We're working hard to make sure we're accessible to everyone. So I'm going to finish this session with a poll, which just seems like sadly bureaucratic and boring at the end of the energy that everyone's brought. But it is really important to hear what you think. So please do let us know. And just so you know as well, this won't be shared. This poll won't be shared with the people who are speaking. It will only advise us on what we need to do. And if you say loads and loads of positive things, then of course we'll share it with our speakers, because everybody needs a bit of positivity in their lives right now. So yeah, so please reflect honestly, and we'll only say the nice stuff to our speakers who participate, because it's us that need to learn from anything else. So thank you all. I reckon we're going to launch a poll, and then we're going to have some more music, and then we're all just going to disappear into the ether and get on with our real lives.
Yeah, this won't be a boring poll at all, so please stand up whilst you're doing your poll. Eric.
Let me get my stuff out. Again, that's my antelope's horn. But this was a vegetarian antelope, so and then I have some palm wine.
Oh, good.
Have a lovely weekend, everybody.
I'm going to take a little screenshot as well, actually, just to finish it off. So if anyone does happen to have a drink or a cup of tea to hand and wouldn't mind just holding it up in a little cheers for the end of the conference, I'm going to share it on social media. So please, please join in if you do have something. Thumbs up if you don't have anything. Okay. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I've taken the picture. Carry on with proceedings.
Kath, let me know how we're getting on with the polls.
I thought you were doing the polls, so we're doing excellently well.
Can't see them here.
I can't launch the polls. I don't have the power. Peter, do you have the power?
There.
Who has the power for the poll?
Okay, they're coming in. So. Go, Jenny. Go, Jenny. Yeah. Sapua no but. Are you not joining us, sir? Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate all the support over the last few days. And yeah, it's a wrap for us. I think we'll be able to share the polls when they're ready. And you get, just to say that, you get emails about all the sessions that we've done over the next coming weeks from all the activities and all the sessions. And so hopefully you'll be able to revisit, reflect back, look at some of the sessions, how they went, and how you put that into practice. 100% people are happy with the session. Fantastic. Thank you all. There's no even point to me saying anything. Really appreciate, guys. Thank you. Thank you. And have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much. Kath, I don't know if there's anything you want to say.
No, I just wanted to say thanks and goodbye. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Meeting you all.
Bye.
Bye.